ESPN head, Jimmy Patero. I send Jimmy Patero emails sometimes when I get pissed. Yeah, I do. I'm like, do you guys ever look at what you've become at ESPN? When a guy, a D-bag, a skinny jean D-bag named Dan Orlovsky can't even post Save Our Daughters without ramifications, do you really look at what you became? Jimmy Patero used to answer my emails. I think I've sent 2 in the last 5 years, but hey, that's all right. I'm expressing myself, and isn't that the American way? Jimmy Patero is well aware of the perception that Pat McAfee gets held to a different standard by the rest of ESPN's talent, claiming McAfee gets to play by a different set of rules than his colleagues coming up. Here's the deal now. See, McAfee's the enemy at ESPN, not among Patero and Burke Magnus and the rest of the suits. No. He is the enemy of the ESPNers that are African American that are siding with Stephen A. Smith. True story. I've been told that by him. He knows that. We all know that. I've been told he's the enemy of the African. He's told me he is the enemy of most of the talent. He is. He's making more money. He's more popular. He's looser. Of course he's the enemy. He put out the other day, McAfee did, that, hey, anybody know any good NBA talent to come on his show? Now, the list of talent for the NBA is this freaking loud. And McAfee is out there soliciting people to come on and talk NBA. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's amazing to me. You know, it really is. It's amazing to me. He's the enemy of the other talent at ESPN. He is. I mean, you can criticize me or whatever you want, mad, glad, angry, or sad, but all you got to do is pay attention, and I do because I really, really, really like Pat. I like Pat personally. I like Pat professionally. I like his mom and dad. I like the whole McAfee thing. I do. But he's the sworn enemy of the other talent. Patero knows it. But here's why Pat McAfee's the most influential. During ESPN's recent media day, you're going to see it right here in Bristol, communications boss Josh Kurlwitz asked chairman Jimmy Patero what keeps him up at night. To my surprise, Patero did not immediately cite the erosion of cable TV's bundle that made ESPN the most powerful player in sports media. Instead, Patero called out the challenge of resonating with younger viewers distracted by Netflix and social media. Now, it's kind of the same thing if you really look at it. It is kind of the same thing. People are saying, wait a second, I get my entertainment elsewhere, but it's the young people. See, look, guys sitting there yelling at each other like Stephen A. Smith and a pack of idiots do doesn't really resonate. You know what I mean? ESPN research shows that Pat McAfee's impact on younger viewers has been staggering, said Patero, and very helpful to the overall brand. He's absolutely right. I mean, Pat McAfee has morphed himself into a superstar. Now, he was always big here in Indianapolis. People loved him. And he was always gracious with everybody, et cetera. And I go way back with Pat. When Pat first got drafted, he came on my radio show as his first interview. And his dad, who was acting as his agent, sent me an email asking if Pat could come on every week. I said, of course, why not? Well, I don't think Bill Polian wanted rookies coming on the most popular radio show in America at the time. Still is. So that got squelched. But having said that, Pat would come in studio. I remember one time he brought his agent. Then he came in again. I said, what happened to your agent? I fired his ass. Pat McAfee has been a trailblazer, but Pat McAfee resonates. And you know what resonates with young people? Pat's association with the WWE. Young people love the WWE. When January hits, if I'm in town, Lee Fitting, former head of ESPN, or one of the heads of ESPN football, has to, by contract, not really, get me tickets to the WWE event of which he oversees. WWE resonates with kids, man. And Pat's ability to bring audiences in. Like this week at Indiana, he did something and went, Indiana, and everybody cheered Indiana, right? No, it's really good. The rest of these clowns, no one's paying attention to. I get it. Stephen A. Smith is trying to talk him, and he will get a big contract. I get it. All the other race baiters are ridiculous. But Pat McAfee is the enemy at ESPN to other talent. He is. Not to a guy like Legler, not to guys that have some common sense, but to the race-baiting clowns that permeate the place, he's the enemy, period. The show is licensed, so we went into this partnership with Pat understanding that he has creative control over the show. And we went into it to understand that what is said on that show might make some people uncomfortable. I will tell you that when there have been issues in the past, Pat has been very open to feedback, and he has worked with us. He has heard us out. He wants to win. Every day he wants to get better, and I very much appreciate that. That's true. That's who McAfee is. But why is this a surprise? You know, ESPN has absolutely lost its way. It's more about race and stupidity than it is about entertaining the viewers. You turn on SportsCenter in the morning, and they got a race baiter, Ryan Smith, or whatever his name is, and some little blonde girl. I mean, it's become a caricature of itself. Think about it. When you turn on ESPN in the morning, you absolutely could take what ESPN is doing in the morning with SportsCenter. I actually tried to watch this morning and move it over to 30 Rock downtown where SNL is filmed or SNL is live or whatever the hell SNL is. You could literally do it as a parody of itself. Post-George Floyd, racial African-American with, as the brothers used to call white women, and they still do, some snow. I got me some snow over here. Oh, really? Yeah. There you go. That's what it has become. But Pat doesn't delve in that realm. Pat delves in the realm of, hey, we're going to do a hell of a show. We're going to get the best guests. We're going to entertain the hell out of you. We're going to say what we want because Pat has been smarter than you. Pat, actually, people don't know this, Pat was on in Indianapolis. Actually, he was syndicated on the same station that I'm on. He got no ratings, but it wasn't a local show. It was a national show. He said, screw that. Went to Barstool. He said, screw that. I'm going on my own. Did you know this? And I've talked about this before, so maybe you do. When ESPN came in, their tech people came into Pat's studio, which is right there, actually. I always point there, but it's actually right over there. They said, man, you've got better equipment than we do. Everything Pat has done has been smart. And for young people, even old people, he's entertaining as hell. He is. He has made Game Day, and I told you he would. You know, it is amazing, everything I tell you on this show. That's why we don't do an overreaction, because we always tell you what's going to happen on this show. Everything we've told you on this show, including that Game Day 1,000% needed Pat McAfee, has come to fruition. You are welcome, America.